It is Thursday, January the 27th. I am John Pollock, joined by Wai Ting for your post-daily news show to get everyone caught up as we discuss all of the latest news. Hello, Wai.
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great.
Likewise. All right, good.
That's great.
Good start,
Are we both on a high at this moment?
Sure, I think so. I mean, yeah, why not? No, what is there to complain about?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We have lots to discuss today. Look forward to going through all of this with you. So with all of that out of the way, if you do want to interact in the chat room, if you want to send us a super chat, we will make time for those as always. And welcome any new viewers that have stumbled upon us by accident. What did I click on Facebook or Twitter? This is here every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. What a great tool and service that these two gentlemen provide. So welcome.
We're going to be here every day, 1 o'clock, forever. All right? You're not going to be able to avoid us. We're going to be all over your social media devices. We're going to be in your emails. We're going to be in your snail mail.
That's right.
You know, send a transcript of this. We'll just show up at your door.
Neil Young might not want to be on Spotify. He is more than welcome to come join us here.
I'm not at all caught up.
I would love to interview Neil Young. That would be fascinating.
I'd love to hear it.
All right. Let's move on to some news coming out of AEW on Wednesday night. So after the show, AEW posted a quick interview clip with Cody Rhodes backstage reacting to his loss to Sammy Guevara. And of note here was him confirming Sean Ross Sapp's report that he is working without a contract, he is on a handshake deal, and he swears on Pharaoh's life that is true and accurate. So
that's how we know it's real.
Or he just turned and we didn't even realize it.
No, even a dastardly heel in professional wrestling, I don't think would swear on the life of his own dog. So I think we could take this as confirmation, the fact that he swore on Pharaoh's life.
So I would say what comes out of that is that the contract is now entered into Cody Rhodes, the character, the story. This is, an AEW platform introducing this. And I will say this promo, for all the negativity I had towards last week, I thought this was a tremendous segment. This really put over the title. It really put over Sammy Guevara. It has now introduced this contract. So at least now we are, the Cody Rhodes character, we are aware of this scenario that they are playing with.
Well, he did mention, there was a line about the contract last week in the promo.
Yes, about not getting the contract he wanted, but that was not explicitly stated that I am not working under a contract. This was in plain English for everybody to understand what it is. I think that was a very veiled reference that we had last week that not everyone was going to digest and understand what he meant by that line.
Sure, but even doing something like this and putting it online, you're only going to cater to the audience that pretty much already knows the story. And it's whatever. Like, I'm sure there wasn't that much thinking about it in a grand scale. They put a camera to Cody Rhodes, and he had a lot to say about his opponent and his future direction as well. So yeah, it does, I guess, put that into focus, and I guess more importantly confirms it for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm. And a phenomenal match on Wednesday night, if you missed it. The ladder match with Sammy Guevara. A ton of accolades being thrown at that match. Justifiably so. I thought it was just a phenomenal match that the two had. 23-minute opener on a beach break.
It was fantastic. Absolutely. Go check it out if you haven't.
All right, moving on. We will stay in the world of contracts. And Sami Zayn was on with Pat LaPrade and Kevin Raphael on their podcasts, Les Antipodes de la Lutte. And confirmed that he has re-signed with WWE. And from the interview, he says, yes, it's true. Honestly, I don't know how people on the internet find this kind of information, but yes, it's true. I just signed for a few years, and I'm really happy. My contract was almost over. They were interested in me staying. I wanted to stay. So it was no more complicated than that. It's not the first time I've said it, but I'm really happy with my role with the company in recent years, especially the last year and a half. I'm doing the best job of my career, especially in terms of my character. I don't know why people were really surprised. They have an idea in their heads that everyone in WWE is unhappy being there, unhappy with their role, that they want more or feel oppressed, or I don't know what. For me, I'm really happy with my role, and I can't wait to see what I'm going to be able to do in the next few years And he went on to note that, of course, every talent in the locker room, everyone always wants more. It's normal. Even Roman Reigns, who is the number one in our company. It's everybody. So I'm not going to say I'm 100% happy with what I have right now. I do the best I can, but there are things I don't control 100%. But with everything that's happened in the last year, I'm really happy to stay here. I feel that the company has confidence in me. And went on to talk about a dream scenario. He said that he had pitched an idea to work with Jeff Hardy, but of course, Jeff Hardy no longer with the company. So those were some of the highlights of the interview, more so the confirmation from Sami Zayn's mouth himself. And I think in line with what I didn't look at it as some big surprise that Sami Zayn was staying, nor did I really sense the temperature was all that stunning that he stayed there. He's in a very solid role on SmackDown. It's clear that this company has a lot of confidence to put him into, you watching these segments with Johnny Knoxville. That's a big push of having this kind of celebrity tie-ins and working with outside people. You want to have confidence in a performer that can go and work with these people in comedic scenarios and be that versatility. And that is something that Sami Zayn brings to the table for sure.
Absolutely. I think the conversation has always been whether or not Sami Zayn himself was happy playing this role that he's tremendous at, or if he had further aspirations of being a main event championship contender, like I think so much of the audience wants him to be. And, according to this interview, he's perfectly happy being that mid-card comedy guy. Somebody has to be the jester, and he's being at least creatively fulfilled. So, yeah, if he's happy, then who are we to complain?
Yeah, and someone that, young enough that, he's 37, I think, so multi-year deal. You can... whatever number of years that is, I don't think for a second this is the last contract he's going to sign in his career either.
Probably not. No, very unlikely. Both him and Kevin Owens.
NXT 2.0 on Tuesday night. They got a bounce back on Tuesday. The Ollie J effect. They were up. Last week they finished 50th among the cable originals. This week up to 41. The big jump in 18 to 49, they were up 23.5%. So last week was one of their lowest 18 to 49 numbers ever. So this is more so getting back to what they were before last week. But their female viewership was huge. 18 to 49 women were up 67% this week, which sounds like a big stat. It's basically at the level they were 2 weeks ago. Women 18 to 34 were up 83%, which was their best mark since New Year's Evil. And then women 35 to 49 were up 47%, but still below the first 2 weeks of the year. So anyway, it was a bounce back. They were against the Lakers Brooklyn Nets game, and I don't know if Ollie J meant something here, or it was just a more fleshed out lineup. One thing is that the NXT numbers, they can swing at significant rates from, if you're looking over a several week period as well. So I don't know what you pin down as the factor, but good news compared to where they finished last week.
I suppose so. Yeah. Is it the Ollie J effect? I don't know.
All that chat about Gunther.
Is that really going to bring somebody to tune into this show?
I'm sure all week long people were just, oh my goodness, we went off the show with a cliffhanger. The winner of the match, Gunther. I've got to wait 7 days to find out the explanation for this, and what an explanation they got this week.
So what is the story? That's his given name and not Walter?
No, he was explaining that his given name, that was his grandfather's name, was Walter, and it's now time for a change.
Okay.
Didn't really explain why there's a need for a change, but there is. So he has distanced himself from Walter to Gunther.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure, whatever. We'll get over it, everybody, In
Canada this week, NXT doing 82,000 viewers, up from 46,000 viewers last week. So, just normal patterns for Canada with 78% differential. We have some WWE business deals to note. Disney Plus has inked a deal with WWE for Disney Plus Hotstar in Indonesia. So Disney Plus Hotstar will have the rights to the WWE Network starting this weekend with the Royal Rumble. And if you are a subscriber of Disney Plus Hotstar in the country, this is no additional cost for you. You will get all of the premium live events and select network content. And this is interesting because the story broke today, but several weeks ago on January 4th, this story did come out. It ended up on the WWE corporate site, and the story was even like tweeted out. And Brandon Thurston might have been the only person that caught this, but it was quickly deleted and then officially made again today. But anyway, so this was a deal. It looks like they were just whatever the reasoning was. This story did come out very briefly several weeks back, but now it is out. And the Hollywood Reporter covered this and noted in an interesting line in here, which we knew the replay rights are up for Hulu this year that they get for Raw and SmackDown. They specified it was at the end of this year those deals are up. So that's at least a specific time frame if that had not been already out yet. But way this kind of just continues the strategy of the network of partnering with different places across the world, and in this case, getting into bed with Disney. And it's interesting just to see all the different players that WWE is doing business with, from Fox and Universal to Netflix, and you're adding, a division of Disney as well for this part of the world.
Yeah. I suppose at the very least, opening up those doors for future negotiations whenever this Peacock deal runs out, as we probably expect, and that continues to be the game. As we maybe somewhat discussed yesterday in the Nick Khan interview, WWE is probably not in a great position to compete with their own streaming service for $10 a month when you have the value that something like a Disney Plus provides, or Peacock, for that matter. And it probably makes a whole lot more sense for everybody involved to just find these sort of deals. So, Indonesia seems to be at least one of our first steps outside of America, and we await to see what other parts of the world they might announce similar deals in. So,
as we bring up Peacock, this is amazing, and it really gives you some light on just the breaking some eggs, so to speak, to hopefully form an omelet down the road for Peacock. So they had their earnings report come out, and they gave an update on Peacock and how well it is doing. Just about a year since it has launched. So some of these notes coming from Tony Maglio at The Wrap. But Comcast chairman Brian Roberts noted that Peacock now has over 9 million paid subscribers. They're getting roughly $10 in revenue per subscriber, with most of those 9 million opting for the $4.99 ad-supported version as opposed to the $9.99 version, which is ad-free, that you have the option of. They've also got another 7 million bundle subscribers that get Peacock without any additional cost through Xfinity or other distributors. They get the ad-supported version. So those people aren't paying specifically for Peacock, but they can get it. So there's 24.5 million active accounts, and Peacock spent $1.5 billion on content last year. They will spend $3 billion on content this year. And in 2020, before it had launched, just like the startup of it all, they lost $663 million. Last year, they lost $1.7 billion. This year, they project they will lose $2.5 billion. And it's amazing that this is obviously a Comcast. They can stomach these losses. And this is like the game of, we will put more and more and more and more in with the hope that we break through and that this eventually becomes this giant profit center for us. But man, the investment that it takes is it's stunning to see these numbers. And that you're talking about, we're looking at by the end of this year, you are looking at like over $4 billion in losses. And right now they stand at just over 9 million paid subscribers, which is, by the WWE Network standards, that's a phenomenal number. But in the grand scheme of things, when you're competing with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Netflix, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket in comparison.
Yeah, truly. It's a very high bar to try to get into this game right now, and NBC Universal feels, I guess, the investment hopefully to them is worth it. I don't know if numbers like these are promising. I don't know really trending wise when they expect to become actually profitable here. But I don't. It doesn't. It's
the long game. Like
me.
All of these, it's like playing that long game, and it really does tell you like how important a UFC is to an ESPN Plus, and helping that growth to where ESPN Plus just grew so dramatically over the pandemic. And with Peacock, they do have the Olympics coming up, so that should be a driver for subscriptions on Peacock. But pretty much anything, these services, like all of these major media companies, want to have their big streaming giant to be prepared for the future. And it's how many of those products are out there that can really move subscriptions. And if WWE is a driver for them, it puts them in a good position, because how many drivers are you going to have when you still have your major sports leagues that want to have their ties on regular television? Like, that was a big part of the NFL extensions as well, is having a presence on television. You're not going to be moving the NFL to just a streaming only product for any of these companies. So that's, again, this is all about the long game, and maybe in 5 years, these losses will all have been worth it, but they're staggering, Way. Like, when we launched Post Wrestling, I said we will not go over $1 billion in losses per year. We will not. I will not go over that amount.
Yeah, thankfully we've been able to keep our costs down a little bit.
We kept our churn down, Way.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, okay. Well, it's an interesting story to continue to follow. You know, whenever the Peacock deal runs out for the WWE, is Peacock still going to be a competitor? Are we still going to see this boom of OTT services continue to pop up? I would think so. You know, really, I don't know what alternative NBC Universal may have if they still want to stay in this game and be competitive. But how much are they going to be willing to spend versus what a competitor may?
And what and how is WWE viewed when you know Fox really wants to get like Tubi up and running, and here you have SmackDown, where they are sending their viewers to a competitor's product in Peacock. Yeah. And obviously that has coexisted, that conflict. But at what point does Fox look at, like, we have our service and here is our major Friday night programming, and they are tied to our competitor's service?
You know, purely speculating, John, do you think if you're AEW, you're looking towards similar deals? Are you looking at least, fielding an offer for... I know they don't have the catalog of a WWE, but I would contend that the catalog isn't necessarily the draw for somebody subscribing on Peacock.
No, it's live events. And to answer your question, I would say 100%. Like, I don't think AEW would be looking at launching anything on their own. Like, that time has passed. You want to link up with one of these big companies that are going to pay you. And I'm sure it's wanting
HBO
to have
Max, probably a front runner.
Certainly you would look at that. But I mean, that has not happened yet. So I certainly think that is inevitable in AEW's future. And you're right. It's not going to be the library that's going to be driving people. It's going to be their pay-per-views or specials specifically done for the streaming service. Yeah, I think that has to be on their lookout for a major deal to close at some point. No streaming this weekend for PWG's Battle of Los Angeles, a 2-night event at the Globe Theater in Los Angeles. Both nights are sold out. So as a live event, it's, this is still like the hot tournament to catch every year. And the first night on Saturday night, so this is a head-to-head with the Rumble, but again, this is not affecting people that are outside of this venue that have to pick between the two. It's an incredible lineup. Rey Horus against Aramis, Daniel Garcia and Kevin Blackwood in the Battle of Western New York, Jack Cartwheel versus Leo Rush, Alex Shelley and Lee Moriarty, JD Drake versus Black Taurus, Davey Richards versus Jonathan Gresham, Jonah versus Buddy Matthews, and Bandito versus Speedball Mike Bailey. So it looks like a very, very solid night and of opening round matches, and then it will continue on Sunday night. But again, it's always just interesting to look like what are the objectives of a PWG and generating buzz for this show when any outside buzz can't be capitalized upon. Like, this lineup looks incredible to me, but I have no way of watching this weekend. Like, this is very much for those that can make the trip to LA that want to watch this, or you await for this to be released several, weeks, months down the road.
I mean, it's been years of PWG continuing this model in a landscape of VOD, live pay-per-view, iPay-per-view, and yet we still talk about it. I think anytime they announce these rosters, there's still a level of attraction and buzz attached to them, similar in a way of like a concert, like Coachella, like announcing its roster. Who are the hot up and coming acts that have earned a spot on this? And I consider yourself very lucky if you're one of the few that get to attend the Globe Theater to watch these matches. and I imagine coming out of it, we'll still hear a level of buzz. You know, how immediate and how much attention these matches will get once they become available on VOD or DVD. This is something that we've discussed a lot, and I personally haven't gone back to watch any, because by the time they eventually come out, I'm moving on to the next thing. There's so much free stuff out there, you know, with a lot of the same guys that are on this roster that I don't really think about it. Nonetheless, it still gets people talking. I'm sure there's still curiosity, and you're right, John. For PWG, they've achieved their purpose of what they want. You know, with this, everything is sold out for this live show.
Yep, both nights are sold out, and those are not cheap prices either that they have set up. So it'll just be interesting to see like how much chatter there is about this tournament coming out of LA on Saturday and Sunday night, because in years past, I mean, same model, same setup, and tons of buzz for this tournament. And, you know, you look at a lot of these names, I wouldn't say this is a tournament where it's really structured around, you know, someone that's going to have just this breakout kind of weekend, because you look at a lot of these names and I would say you're familiar pretty much with these performers already. It's just going to be some hot wrestling both nights with all of these different combinations.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's what it's built its brand on. Any standouts to you that you'd be curious to hear from, at least in terms of buzz?
Oh man, I like Speedball and Bandito's going to be incredible. I think that Richards and Gresham will be outstanding. Like all of the Jack Cartwheel would be the one that I would look out in terms of that breakout. Like I think that guy has just so much talent. You know, he's been featured on GCW in the past and PWG, but I would say he is that one that this could be a real breakthrough weekend for him, just in terms of that kind of buzz. And you have an opponent like Leo Rush on the first night. Like all these matches should be incredible. Ray Orus and Aramis, like all of it you can look at. It should be outstanding. So there you go. It will be happening Saturday and Sunday. Tonight on Impact, they've got Before the Impact at 7:30 p.m., Blake Christian against Laredo Kid. And then on Impact proper, Mickie James will give a State of the Knockouts address just 2 days before she is going to be appearing in the Royal Rumble. W. Morrissey against VSK and Zicky Dice. Jonah will take on Johnny Swinger. The Inspiration versus Madison Rain and Caleb with a K, who is replacing Tennille Dashwood, and Chris Bay versus Jake Something is going to be featured on Impact. So we will have a coverage of Impact tonight at postwrestling.com as always. So there you go, Way. Impact, all set. Are you ready for this weekend? Are you ready for the big combo of SmackDown Friday night and then a Saturday night premium live event?
Yeah, sure, why not? You know, get it out of the way, and then we'll have Sunday to enjoy the Up Next Rumble and a bunch of other things. So it doesn't make a big difference to me, John. I mean, do you have preference about Saturday or Sunday?
I kind of like the Saturdays, to be quite honest. I think that's I think they work fine, and I think as well it'll be interesting to see like WrestleMania week how the whole flow of WWE events goes. But yeah, overall, I'm fine with the Saturdays. It's not really a big difference to me between Saturday and Sunday, but you do get that kind of Sunday then to restore your sanity. Though I don't think we're going to get some marathon show from the Rumble either. It's an 8 p.m. start time, and I mean it's listed to go till 11:30, so give or take. I mean we're looking at a 4.5 hour show with the kickoff, which, I mean, 45 minutes of that kickoff is very skippable.
Mm-hmm. And again, just a reminder, you still have time to enter the post-wrestling Royal Rumble pool. Enter by Saturday at 3 o'clock and make your predictions, make your guesses. Who's going to win? Who's going to be a surprise entrant? Lots of time to make your picks still.
Yes, it's free to join, so you can go to postwrestling.com/rumble. Takes a couple of minutes to make all of your picks, and we will be announcing the top point getters on Monday and going through some of the unique picks from our statistician, Chris Engler, that will be administering and monitoring all of the Royal Rumble pool entries. Are you going to enter?
I don't think so. I don't think I'll have time, but I will have my mental entries.
Okay, mental entries. Those are always appreciated as well.
What I did enter, John, was the WrestleNomics Ratings predictions. As we mentioned last night on Rowena Dynamite, Phil Chertok and Brandon Thurston have set up at postwrestling.com/Discord in the WrestleNomics channel a bot where you can accept. Everybody is giving their guesses about what AEW's demo rating is, and so you can simply go into the Discord. It's free to join the WrestleNomics channel itself, and then type !PR and then your guess. So you can see everybody here forecasting, I would say ranges between, it seems like on average like 0.40 to maybe 0.44 seems to be the guess. So we shall see a bit later today.
See, not surprising. This is going to become a very popular feature of the WrestleNomics channel on the Discord. I'm thinking maybe the prediction needs to be the actual number instead of the rating, because you're not going to get like too many variations on. Wow.
Okay. You're saying the actual, like down to the, 100,000.
Yes.
Okay. That's really difficult.
I think that's the next step. Like, look how many people are entering this. You're only going to get, so many differences between like a 0.4 and a 0.45.
That's not a terrible idea, like but then you can kind of like do Prices Right and just like force people out. If you just add a 1, at the very end of like 800,000. Yeah. Anyway, it's just an interesting way to gauge people's thoughts and where they may, put all this stuff. And I wonder if they'll extend it to the other shows too.
So the AEW Dynamite number will be out later today. We will go through that on Friday, and we'll also do a big Royal Rumble preview on Friday's post-daily news show. So you can look forward to that live on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Later today on the site, we will have Bushby and Thompson's wrestling experience. They're going to be joined by Jeremy Lambert from Fightful.com.
It'll just be Andrew, actually, because Martin has a birthday week. So happy birthday, Martin.
Oh, okay. So Martin... God knows what he's doing for his birthday week. We hope he is well.
You don't want to know, John.
Not a chance. So Andrew and Jeremy will have a review of No Way Out 2003 from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, featuring the forgotten, and rightfully so, rematch between The Rock and Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where they thought, you know what we should do in Montreal? Terrible. Anyway, that's coming up today on the site. And then we've got the news update tomorrow. Rewind to SmackDown on Friday night for all patrons. And then the Royal Rumble post show Saturday night live for Double Ice Cap and Espresso members of the Post Wrestling Cafe, as we will review the card, take your calls, and solve all the world's problems. All for Post Wrestling Cafe members.
Very exciting.
That is it for us. Thank you to everybody for joining us live, and have a wonderful day.